Hey everyone, it's Strange Michael. I hope you're doing well today. I have another review for a movie that I've been so stoked to rewatch and talk about again. I haven't seen this in a couple of years. I watched it back in either 2020 or 2021 or 2019, somewhere about there. This is a 2016 slasher film that has it's gained more notoriety over time, and for all the right reasons. The first time I ever heard about this movie was from a kill count video, not from like one of the big channels either, just a smaller channel. And when I saw the gore in this movie, I was like, I need to see this movie. So at some point, eventually, I told my mom one weekend when we were hanging out, I was like, hey, we need to watch this movie called Terrifier. Again, this came out in 2016, about an hour and 20 minutes long. I think it's directed and written, I believe. Yes, it is, by Damien Leone, or Leone. I think it's Leone. This is phenomenal. It's not perfect by any means, but it's great. It's really great. If you love 80s type of slasher movies, if you like modern day films that feel like older movies, have that grindhouse feel sometimes, if you like slashers especially, you need to like slashers to like this. Terrifier is a very, very different movie. It is very bizarre, very weird. Some parts of it don't make sense, but in the best possible way. That's a great compliment I could possibly give it. I love this movie, and this is one of the things I asked for my birthday last year, alongside Creepshow, either Season 1 or Season 2, the Stand TV show. And this is one of the things my mom got me for Christmas or my birthday. I think it was my birthday, though. It was in a haul video with Hell House LLC, and I love it. I think it's fantastic. It's my kind of movie. I could rewatch this over and over again. It's kind of a low-budget slasher. Sorta. It kind of looks that way sometimes. Sometimes it looks cheap, but most of the time I think it's pretty on par, even compared to most things that are straight to video like this, compared to most things that in general are in theaters as horror movies. I think it's better than about 98% of that stuff. I really mean that. It's not a Hereditary, it's not a Child's Play remake, it's nothing like to that degree. It's different, but also very similar to something like a Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends, that kind of thing. Terrifier is a very, very special little movie about a man named Art the Clown who is stalking two girls who are friends on Halloween night. And of course, we're getting Terrifier 2 next week that I cannot wait. Next week is going to be a hell of a week for horror. We have that. We have Hellraiser on Hulu coming out on like Friday, I think is what it is. Let's see, we have the Chucky Season 2 starting up. There's so many things happening next week, dude. I don't even have words for it. But Terrifier 2 is coming out next week. I thought it was going to be late October when that comes out. That is not the case. I can't wait to see that. It's even longer than this. This movie's about an hour and 20 minutes long, and it's basically about a guy named Art the Clown who does not speak, who's dressed up like a mime, and he's stalking these two girls, like I said. And it eventually kind of moves its way into a one location, basically a big abandoned warehouse type of building with a cleaning guy in there. It's basically secluded to that for the most part, while these girls try to escape this crazy, insane, mute clown. Art the Clown is played by a fellow in this movie that deserves way more credit than he gets. This man is named David Howard Thornton. Now, he is not the first one to play Art the Clown. I've seen the two movies that introduced Art the Clown to the world, called All Hallows Eve 1 and 2. Damien Leone was involved with those. They're anthology films. I'm not a fan of them at all. I do not like those movies. I don't think there was a single segment in those movies I liked. But Art the Clown, even with a different actor, stuck out in those movies because of how funny and silly he is, how weird and wild he is. But in this movie, it's really perfect. And David hit that perfect. He is just the perfect casting for this nut job clown because of the type of physical humor he can pull off with just facial features behind makeup, with the little hat on his head. One of my favorite things ever is when Art the Clown goes up to a girl, he takes his hat and just lifts it off like a little salute and then puts it back on. Even though it's attached with a string, it's a little tiny hat like this big on top of his head. The physical humor to this movie is such a slapstick thing, and it's great. It's great. I love it. I love this freaking clown. I love this freaking movie. Again, it has a little bit of a cheap feel to it. The look of it is not great. The writing of it is not excellent, but I really like the change-up on it. It's a very different type of slasher. but has enough in common with its own subgenre of horror that it's good. It's very different and creative and fresh for when it came out. It's fresh even now if you haven't seen this movie before. If you've heard of Terrifier, which if you're in the horror circles on the internet, you've heard of Terrifier at some point, whether you know it or not, you've heard of this movie. And I think it's a big success amongst a lot of people to be a straight-to-video or straight-to-streaming or whatever type of movie. That should speak volumes. And again, I got this as a Christmas present or birthday present or something, and I love it. It's going to be part of my collection as long as I live, God willing. And I think it's a classic. I think it has so much going for it, so much fun and insanity. I like the two main girls who are in this. I think they bring great performances. But again, you're here for Art the Clown. He is fun, he's zany, he's weird, he doesn't talk. The jokes that he delivers, I remember at one point in this movie when I was watching it tonight, I laughed so hard numerous times, even though I've seen the movie before. At one point when he gets hurt, and the girl is running away, and he just flips her off. And it's great, just the sense of humor about the script, the sense of humor about that character and how well realized he is. It's just different. It's like if you had the physicality of Robert Englund's Freddy Krueger, who couldn't talk. That's what this is like. And it's great. I love him. I love the low-budget costume look to him. It's kind of intentional, but it's kind of not. It works. Everything about it works. It's such a kind of a low-budget movie, kind of a cheaply made movie. But it looks good. It has this old-timey look to it that looks great. You blend that with great things like the amazing kind of 80s synthwave music, and it's not too much either. It's not overbearing. It really adds like a pulse to this movie. All of that blended together with the really good acting from everybody in this just comes to life. It really makes something really special and fun to watch. It's crazy, and I'll tell you right now, I'm a big fan of practical effects. This movie has a ton of that. I would say almost every single effect in this movie, except for like a very few small couple of things, very small, minute things, like gunshots. Most of this movie, about 98% of it, are practical effects. And when I say practical effects, I mean tons of gore is already in this film. Tons of it. The makeup is great in here. The special practical effects stuff is fantastic looking for the most part. There's a couple of things here and there in the practical effects even that look a little cheap. But I would say, again, about 98% of that is great. It looks phenomenal. It's eerie. It gets under your skin. Most of this movie gets under my skin, as a matter of fact. If you are very much a squeamish person, this is not a movie for you. Let me tell you that up front. If you love horror and you love comedy and you like the two being blended together in a very well-balanced way, this movie is for you. Terrifier is so special, and I don't think enough people give it enough credit. It's so well made, it's fun to watch, it's just a great Halloween time October movie, and it feels like that time of the year. It's really hard to pull that off most of the time without just showing some trees with some leaves falling down. But there are two people, I think, well really three people who have hit that perfectly in the world. That's John Carpenter with the original Halloween, that's Tim Burton with his Sleepy Hollow film I just reviewed, and that's this movie, and Mr. Damien Leone and what he did with this. It's special, and it's a recommendation from me. So have you guys seen Terrifier? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Put all your thoughts and comments down below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this amazingly fun, weird, zany movie. It's unforgettable. Once you see it, you will never forget this, and I would be very surprised if it doesn't get at least one laugh out of you or one cringe from the gore in it. If I had to rate it on a 5-star basis like I typically do, I would give it probably a 4 out of 5 stars. It's very fun, and it's everything you could want from this kind of slasher type of thing. And it's the sad part too. This, the Child's Play remake, You're Next from a few years back, like 2011 or so, from Adam Wingard, and the Halloween newer movies like 2018, Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends, those are really the only kind of slashers we've had in recent years that are like this, that are so... They're self-aware of what they are, and they really, really love being what they are. And David Howard Thornton playing this role of Art the Clown is what you need to watch this movie for. Everybody's good in it, but he really is the shining star here. He brings Art to life. I cannot wait for Terrifier 2 to see what happens with that because of what happened in here and how fun this was. This is such a massive improvement. It's one of the biggest things I said about All Hallows Eve 1 and 2. Take Art the Clown, pluck him out of those boring-ass movies, and put him in his own feature. And they did that. Damien did that. And it pulled off. It worked so well, and it's just perfect. I love it. For what it is, it's perfect. Anyway, 4 out of 5 stars for me. I recommend it highly if you haven't seen this movie. It's a great movie for Halloween night. If you haven't seen it before, you're really, really missing out. But you better be ready, because you're going to see some things you've never seen before, I promise you. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Put them down below, guys. I'd love to hear what you have to say about Terrifier. Are you excited for Terrifier 2? I'm planning on trying to review that if I can get my hands to either get a copy or to watch it, wherever it's getting released. I don't know how it's getting released. I think it's going straight to streaming as well, but if it is, I'm going to try to watch it because I want to talk about that movie. And I'm really stoked to see it because it's going to be good. Anyway, put your thoughts and comments down below. Thank you for watching, guys. God bless you all, and goodbye.